So just arrived in Kuala Lumpur after a 7-hour flight. Hotel was a bit short on rooms, so they've given me an upgrade, they said. Let's have a look, see what we've got. Oh my god. You remember in the vlog about Japanese toilets, I said that was an enormous room, certainly by Japanese standards. Take a look at this. So this is the entrance area. It looks like we've got a pretty spectacular view from the 27th floor. Yeah, the sun's just going down, but this place is enormous. We've got a desk. My luggage is already here. Another big TV. And a bathroom that's actually bigger than the entire hotel room in Tokyo. So thank you very much, Hilton Kuala Lumpur. You certainly know how to make somebody feel special. But for one person, I'm kind of going to be rattling around in here on my own. Oh well, time to enjoy it. Only here for a couple of days, so let's make the most of it. Hey guys, it's my last morning in Kuala Lumpur. I've got a few meetings today and then head off to the airport this evening, and a sort of 15-hour flight through Dubai back to London. Should get into London early hours of Saturday morning. I've got about 40 minutes before I have to head off for my next meeting, so I thought I'd take the opportunity to do a bit of a Q&A. I get a lot of questions around my vlogs by many different means, some of them by Twitter, by other things, but I try and save them up till I've got sort of 4 or 5 questions that I can answer all in one go, especially if they're questions that lots of people are asking for the same thing. So apologies if I don't get back to you immediately. Actually, the quickest way to get an answer to a question is to comment down below. I get a lot of questions about the drone and the vlogs about drones. I'm going to save those for another time. This one specifically about business travel. So the number one question I get, that so many people ask me, is how come you get so many upgrades? It's really rather simple. So I have a simple formula that helps me get upgrades. Is I'm nice and I ask. So everyone is in such a rush these days, and the airlines want you to check in online, and wherever possible I don't use the online check-in, because the online check-in doesn't give you the ability to speak to a human being, and it certainly doesn't give you the ability to ask. You just accept the seat and you get on the plane. So I always try and check in at the airport. I'm a generally polite, talkative human being. I will, ask the check-in assistant how her day's going, but I won't lay it on thick. I don't sit there and sort of, please, can I have an upgrade? I just inquire if there's any possibility of getting an upgrade. And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no, sometimes they say yes, but you have to pay for it, or you can use miles. But by having an interaction with the person at check-in, it gives you that option. So there is no secret sauce to getting an upgrade. And that brings me on to the sort of second question. The second question is, which airlines do you fly? And I fly a very small number of airlines, and that's because the thing that also helps you get status, other than not being an idiot to all the staff at the airport, is your status with the airline's rewards program. So generally I fly BA or one of the One World carriers, because they all help give me status on BA, or I fly Emirates, and those are generally the two groups that I fly. And of the two, I would say Emirates is significantly more generous with the upgrades than British Airways are. But British Airways do occasionally, when they have a need, bump you up a cabin. So if you have status with an airline, you have miles with an airline, Sometimes you can use those miles to get you a better seat on the plane. The other thing you can do is, if you have a credit card, which I'm assuming most people do these days, is to have a credit card that gives you miles on the particular airline. So my British Airways American Express card, it gives me miles. Now, it doesn't give me tier points, and they're the key things for status upgrades. But the extra miles that I gain from other purchases that I use my credit card for, I can then apply to use for seat upgrades. So that's it. Unfortunately, I wish I could tell you there was a secret sauce, something you could do that would magically get you on a list for upgrades, but I don't believe such a list exists. Okay, packing. Pack light or pack heavy? Generally, I pack heavy. And the reason for this is, on a number of business trips, I have been diverted. So my plan at the beginning of the business trip wasn't necessarily the plan at the end, and I end up having a couple of extra nights. I end up going somewhere else. So I always overpack, and I tend to carry 2 or 3 days extra clothes, spare shirts, spare trousers, spare jackets, those kind of things that I may get home and I may never have worn. But I've been in a number of situations. A good example was a couple of years ago. I was literally walking into a presentation when somebody opened a door. It banged into me while I was carrying a coffee, and my shirt and everything was covered from head to foot in hot coffee. But luckily, I had a spare shirt in my bag. 2 minutes later, pristine white shirt, off to do my presentation. So I always pack heavy. I know some people like to take their bags on the aircraft with them, but I always take a larger suitcase that I can overpack, and then I can check it to my destination. So again, personal preference. Some people like to say pack light, but me, I pack heavy. Don't you miss your family when you're traveling? Yes, of course I do. I really miss my family when I'm traveling, and sometimes it can be quite a lonely life sitting in, well, palatial room like this. But yes, I do definitely miss my family when I'm traveling, and I try when I'm home to make sure that I spend time and sort of make up for the time that I'm traveling. But it's something I've done for a significant portion of my adult life, and it's part of our sort of family way of doing things. So there's times when I'm away and there's times when I'm home, and we make the best of the times when I'm home. And when I'm away, I speak to my wife every day, even if it's only a very short phone call, and I keep in touch with my daughter and my grandson via messenger and things like that. Okay, what's in your bag? So when I go on the plane, this is actually my new bag. I take my backpack, and this contains my laptop and other electronic items that I need for my work. I generally pack this camera in there. It's quite small and compact, just because I like having a camera with me. If I need or want to talk to you guys, it's an easy way. I can just stick this on the Gorilla Pod and get on with it. But I also pack a spare underwear, spare socks, because if you're getting off of a plane and going straight to a meeting, just a simple freshen up in the bathroom, change of underwear after a long flight can make all the difference. I would love to be able to carry things like a razor so I can have a shave after a long flight, but unfortunately the airlines take a very dim view on you packing a razor. And the last one really is sort of any tips. And I would say it's wherever you travel in the world, people are generally nice people. People say, well, I wouldn't travel to that country. They're not a very nice country. And I think it's dreadful that people will tar an entire nation by something they've seen from, maybe one person on the television. So generally, people are very, very nice. People are very, very helpful. But you should also be respectful. Even if you don't necessarily agree with the religious beliefs of that country or the way that they do things, if they have a good or a bad human rights record, yes, all of these things you're very entitled to your opinion on, you're very, very entitled to it, but you don't necessarily have to voice them in public. There are countries that have very strict rules and they expect you to follow them. So if you go to a Muslim country, follow the rules. Even if you don't agree with them, you should be respectful of the country that you're visiting and follow the rules. So I would say, even if you have deeply held religious beliefs and you're going to another country, you should respect their beliefs. But generally, I think the rule that there's an Australian comedian called Adam Hills, who I love his comedy and his TV shows, and Adam has a very simple view of what he says: don't be a dick. If you're going to go to another country, be respectful, don't be a dick. Well, that's it. I need to get on with some work today. So thanks very much for tuning into the vlog. More drone vlogs to come. So if you've been missing those, stay tuned. There'll be some more of those in the next week or so. And if you've been watching, thank you very much.